head for the sky, it's alright. Our wings wouldn't fly, it's alright. If we are crashing down again, pieces of love, it's alright. Scattered in mud, it's alright. You're giving me a lie again. And tell me what you want, this time I won't take it to the heart, 'cause I know we won't make it out. I've heard it all before. Yeah, tell me what you want, let me hear that I'm the only one. You know that we won't make it out. We've heard it all before. It's alright. Hey, it's alright. Hey, it's alright. It's alright. It's alright, so let's move on. 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 Alright, so let's move on.
Good morning, everybody. It's Friday. It's a little fun. We're just going to have a little smooth time, sometime just hanging out. It's Friday because, well, the week is almost over, but we got some work left to do. We're going to talk, well, business ethics, but we're going to have some fun doing it, I promise. We're going to make it really interesting. We're going to do some things talking about why we don't want to give the bad name to, Paprotech and to merchant services. We want to do the right things for our customers, the right things for us, the right things that we can all win. I like to call it the triple win. And we're going to do this right now on The High Five.
The time has come, the questions are said, opinions hide, discussions are led, a show about nothing and everything, it's all the same. We've got sports, entertainment, sales, and marketing. It's time for the high five. We've got it all covered. It's time for the high five. We've got it all covered. Yeah. The high five.
That's right, everybody. It's time for the High Five, and my name's Nate Manahan. I'm here in Indianapolis, Indiana, but I have, amazingly, 4 people on this screen. Oh, we got to fit them all in. Behind the, Brian Linky, making things much better looking is Miss Jen Sales. How are you, Jen?
Good morning, Nate. I am good. How are you today?
I am doing well. I am living the dream now that you're on the stream. I saw you, I couldn't talk because if I talk, it goes over the stream there, but I saw you waving back there. I thought you'd stay on. Perfect. Life is better. It's much better looking, right, Danny? I mean, maybe we should just boot, control the failure to the curb there.
What a Friday.
All right. So,
okay, my day's only going to go down from here because it doesn't get any better than that.
No, you're right. Absolutely. So I'm trying to read Brian's. There we go, full screen so we can get everybody there. It was Brian. What does that shirt say? Back up just a little bit. Control the future. Oh, look at that.
Control the future.
Control the future. It's yours. Take grab. Do the things. You're in charge. All right, there's Brian. Let's go over to Danny. Danny Shard. He's already multitasking in there. He's got emails that are being responded to. He is absolutely living life to the largest. How are you, Danny?
I'm doing good. Happy Friday. I did get a chance to take a half a day yesterday and play a very prestigious golf course here in Colorado. So I'm in catch-up mode a little bit. But otherwise, it's a good Friday so far. And Jen Sales is on. I love it.
What?
Hi, Danny.
And the question is, what'd you shoot, Danny?
I didn't play my best. I shot an 80 yesterday.
Oh, man.
I finished with 3 straight bogeys and shot an 80.
That'd have been the first half of my front 9, so you did great. All right. We have never fulfilled the golf. I have yet to play golf, but Linky versus Manahan's got to show up at some point.
Absolutely.
You don't want it.
All right, this morning, guys, I wanted to talk about business ethics, and what's been in my head as I came up with this topic a couple days ago is the Bon Jovi song "You Give Love a Bad Name," and our constant word that we hear from our partners, from our merchants, and we talk about ourselves, how the reputation of merchant services and point of sale system services has a very negative reputation. All sales has its bad actors, but I certainly think there's been a variety of bad actors that have done things to hurt our industry, to cause it hard for us to build trust and rapport with our current customers and our new merchants and our future merchants. And so we've given a bad name, and I won't sing it for you. Maybe Danny will do that later. But that song, we've done it over time, and we need to make decisions to do what's right and make hard decisions sometimes either leaving money on the table or realizing that it's a harder sale because we're going to be a little more transparent than what we may have been, but long term we can do this. Danny, you've been in this business the longest of any of the three of us. Do you feel like is the tide changing? Is it the unethical bad characters? Are there more or less? Where do you feel we are with people making ethical decisions in their sales process in merchant services?
That's a really good question. You know, as I think as the industry gets more saturated, you're going to have more of an opportunity for the snakes in the grass to come out, right? And for people that want to do business really the wrong way, cut corners, or try to, you know, add in fees and just really not play fair on both sides of the ball. It's I think the opportunity's there as we get more and more competitors in, but I also think that the competition that we all have, as well as how much more integrated we all are whenever we're seeing these, you know, forums, Facebook. I mean, competitors are more connected now than they were before. And they're also not afraid to call each other out publicly. So that plays a factor in it. And I think that in a lot of ways, we're keeping each other much more honest, and we're all able to do that in a much better way nowadays with the technology that's out there. So, yeah, I think the potential with some of the programs, the technology, the potential's there for it technically to become worse and to have some of these bad players in the game. But I also think that we're going to be able to keep each other honest and kind of push them out as well.
So in a moment, we're going to talk about some of the specific ways that we have to make ethical decisions and sometimes leave some money on the table to make those decisions, or hopefully build our brand in a better way. But Brian, you've been doing sales for a long time and been faced with ethical decisions in a variety of ways. We all are. Where do you come from when it comes to making those ethical decisions, doing what's right for the merchant, and finding that joint win? Where do you find your inspiration to make that decision? How do you become inspired that way?
Well, here's the thing. Okay. I mean, if you're going to stay in this industry, in any sales job, for a long time, I mean, if you're going to be in sales for a long time, then you're going to have to do things, ethically. And you know, now if if you want to get in this, a quick in and out, you're obviously, I mean, you can basically do whatever you want. But, at Paper Tech, I mean, we pride ourselves on doing things the right way. And that's why, we have a 12 times true up, a 14 times true up. I mean, because, we want these merchants to be with us for a long time. And the longer they're with us, obviously, the more money we're going to make. So again, if you're in this, if you're in sales, as long as I've been in it, if you're not doing things the right way, and again, you know what? I mean, we all want to make money, right? I mean, sales is just it's a tricky thing because, we're all somewhat greedy. And if you say that you're not, then you're lying, in my opinion. But again, if you want to stay in this thing for a long time, Paper Tech, we pay a lifetime residual, right? I mean, it's I told a guy yesterday, you want to go pitch for the New York Yankees and not do this anymore? As long as your merchant's processing, we're going to pay you. So again, if you're in this and you want to make money long term, you'll do things the right way.
Okay, I have to laugh at you. You chose that they're going to go pitch for the New York Yankees and still keeping a residual with Paprotech. If they're making pitcher, I'm just guessing our residual is a little less if you made it. To the Yankees,
I
but I
said
don't know.
relief pitcher.
Okay, relief pitcher. All right. Well, you got that first year minor league contract, so maybe they need a
You
little
have to be
extra
really
money on it.
right. Well, to stay in the major leagues, you have to be really good if you're a relief pitcher because they're few and far between.
Well, now this year, I mean, give me a break. We've got expanded rosters. We can do it. Okay, that's a whole nother conversation. Let's talk about some of the, I'm going to call them pitfalls of ethics that we've seen and that we often mop up, meaning either as Paprotech and we have partners who have made those decisions and made promises that aren't true or things like that. So I'm going to talk about the whatever it's 5-letter word, the lease that we hear often. And leasing in our industry, that was how the business, I have a series of interviews of partners that I've done on video, and they, time after time, I got in the industry, we did a lease, and leasing was the way of the world. Now, what we've learned is leasing is also a place where people have exploited, done the wrong decision. Brian, I know you, when you first really started working on the customer service side for a while on the Paprotech side, you were dealing with merchants that were just burdened and I don't know what the right word is, just by leases. Can you explain how are people exploiting leases and making bad ethical decisions when it comes to leases?
Well, I have to be careful here because we have a lot of agents, some pretty good ones that are still in the leasing business. Danny and I both, when we talk to new agents, and we get asked this weekly, sometimes 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times a week. Do we lease? And the answer is no. I mean, we do not lease at Paprotech. Now, if you want to lease equipment, if you want to do your own thing, get with a leasing company, far be it from me to tell you what to do. I'm just, in my opinion, a lease is something that in the long term, and again, we have a lot of agents that are with us that are successful and they're continuing to do it. I just think for me personally, if I want to keep my merchants, and I've got merchants that I signed since I was here, day one, 10 plus years ago that are still processing with me. I just don't think that if I lease them their VX520 or their Deja Vu Z11 or whatever it is, I have a hard time believing that they'd still be with me. Just because, I think they would eventually find out like, hey, you know what, this company's going to do this. And, and again, you're talking to a guy who's way before the internet, right? Way before LinkedIn and way before Facebook, where nobody knew anything then. Everybody knows everything now, right? I mean, all you have to do is Google something. I just think it'd be a hard way for me to sleep at night, knowing that, I could come in tomorrow and get a phone call and, 3 of my best merchants are going away because what in the world are you doing here? Because there's other ways now, especially with the cash discounting program, right? I mean, that is, it's changed the game. It's changed the game for everybody. It's changed the game for the merchant. It's changed the game for the agent. It's changed the game for Paprotech. So yeah, there's other ways to do it. I'm interested to hear what Danny has to say, but we don't lease. And if that's what you want to do and that's what you're going to do, now, you know what, I take that back because when we do the point of sale systems, there's certain types of leases with that type of equipment. But that's a whole nother topic.
Well, and I think the point on the thing is that leasing can be done ethically. Leasing by itself isn't an unethical practice. But Danny, right, certainly there are unethical things. What are some of those things that we have to mop up that, or we compete against in the market that people are doing unethical things when it comes to leases?
Yeah, I mean, and you're right, Nate. I mean, leasing, I think a lot of folks have had a negative outlook on leasing because of how much it was abused, right? When in fact, like Brian's saying, like there is, and like you said, Nate, there is a good position for leasing on certain types of equipment, certain scenarios when it makes sense, right? A merchant needs a lot of terminals or a lot of point of sale hardware, and they're going to spend thousands of dollars out of pocket. And a lot of SMBs just don't have that kind of cash flow available. Financing that is a perfect option, just like we all finance our homes and our cars and all of it, right? I mean, you've got to have the equipment to operate your business. And if you can't afford that equipment, you got to finance it. And that's what leasing was intended to do. But where it ended up being abused was a lot of companies and a lot of sales reps that are leasing terminals for $39, $49, $59 a month. And although they'll try to justify it and say it's only $39 a month, that terminal costs $130, $150, right? You're going to lease a terminal for a merchant for 48 months for $39 a month. Then you'd hear the horror stories of $99 a month and $129 a month. And that's just, that should be illegal, right? So I think that's the negative outlook that a lot of us at PayProTech and some of our competitors too feel the same way. There's a lot of competitors out there though that are all advocates for it, and let's take advantage, let's maximize our revenue. Which, let's be clear on this subject, I think I can speak for all of us that we're not against making money. We understand in this industry that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to provide a good service, but we're trying to earn good income for ourselves and our families. But there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. And I think when it comes to taking advantage of small, medium businesses, that's just the wrong thing to do. I think we see leasing kind of rearing its ugly head and becoming more popular now, because really for about 10 years there, when the placements came out, like placement terminals specifically, the terminal leasing agents, were flipping their lid, right? Because it was making it more and more difficult for them to go in and lease a terminal for $39, $49, up to $99 a month, when Brian Linke just walked in and can give it to him for free, right? Just come process with me. I'm going to give you a free placement. If you ever have an issue with your service, just send that equipment back. And that's a fair and right way to do business. We're trying to earn that residual revenue, not trying to earn a big, huge payday on a lease and lock them in when it's completely unfair.
Well, and I think a lot of what this comes down to is that's disclosures, that we need to disclose exactly what's the whole thing is happening to the merchant. And that's a hard thing to do, because we have to tell them this is what you're paying, this is the term you're going to be on, this is why you're paying it. And we then take the easy way out. And this comes for a lot of things that we don't have to disclose. Our contracts have a lot of fine print on them that probably most of our partners don't even know what the wording means. And so what are the things, Danny and Brian, we'll come to you, Brian, what are the things you think are most important as ethical decisions that you think every merchant should know when they are starting out with you, no matter how they're starting out, whether it's Interchange Plus or an Edge account or a POS system? What are the things that you feel like you need to disclose in order to be fair to the merchant when they're signing up with you?
This is an easy one. And I get asked it all the time. Do we have contracts? And our standard agreement. It says it right in there. Is a 3-year contract, right? It's a 3-year. I don't know. I hate to use the word contract. It's a 3-year agreement. And again, it's only to protect PayProTech, right? It's only to protect, because we give away the ranch here. We give away. When I first got into this, with the approval bonuses and the now it's an activation bonus and the 12 times, 14 times true up, and now with the cash discounting and free POS placements, and we're giving away everything. So it's, to me, a 3-year agreement is not out of the question. However, we also have a way, if you are getting some pushback from a merchant that is not comfortable signing a 3-year agreement, we have an addendum, a month-to-month agreement to make your merchant feel more comfortable, to get them in a month-to-month agreement and to take a little bit of the pressure off. And so again, I just think that here at this company, we're doing just about everything that we can in order to make the merchant more comfortable. And again, make the agent more comfortable, free equipment, free POS placement, cash discounting, activation bonuses, true up bonuses. To me, it's just, higher residual splits, no bin fees. I mean, all these things that we do for the agent. I don't think you have to do anything, unethical to make money here. That's just my opinion.
I think you're totally right. And I think there are just things that we have to be proactive on and making sure that the merchants are just well aware, because what happens is we want the merchant to be as empowered as possible, and we want the partner. So the same thing with our partner agreement, which is actually longer than our merchant agreement. We want them to make sure they understand what they're getting into, and what the relationship with is, and be real honest with it. Danny, what are asking the same question I asked to Brian? What are things he talked about making sure they understand what the contract and the terms of the contract or the agreement is? What is in the terms of the agreement with merchants? What else do you think is important that every merchant knows as they get into a working relationship with the sales partner they're working with? Yep.
It's really important to understand, funding time frames. I mean, like we talked about before, I love whenever we can take that extra step of setting expectations. Right. So where Brian's talking about reviewing the contract, terms of the contract, obviously we give a lot of flexibility, and we want partners to be able to sell with confidence, offer free equipment, eliminating fees if that's the best fit for a merchant. Everything that we throw in there, even early termination reimbursement programs, all of these things with the confidence to say, and we're not going to lock you into a contract. We're going to earn your business every day by putting you in a month-to-month agreement. If you feel that we're failing to do that, we're not being fair on our pricing, the equipment's not working for you, or I'm not providing you good service out here to your business directly. If you need to cancel, you can cancel without penalty because I haven't earned your business every day. I think that's massive, and that's something that absolutely should be communicated to a merchant when you're selling them with that, if you're wanting to sell with no contract. I do also think that when you're selling and adding a lot of value, that you're justified in putting them into an agreement, because like Brian's talking about with the bonuses that you're getting and free equipment offers, like we're adding so much value to the business. They, in my opinion, that we're justified if we can get them into a 2 or 3 year contract to kind of hold them to us a little bit. So that way, if they want to move to a competitor, what that does at least is give us an opportunity to try and save the business, as opposed to making it just very easy for them to cancel and get out of it. So that's that. But as far as setting expectation, I think is important, right? Merchants understanding funding timeframes, not being caught off guard by that. Merchants understanding parameters, that's a huge one, right? And we see this often with our graduated underwriting process, where merchants can be approved for higher or lower parameters than what was requested. And that's our way in an effort to get them approved quickly. And we may need some documentation if we need the parameters increased. But so merchants can understand, what the risk is with taking credit cards on our side. And we're not talking restaurants and retail merchants, right? Very low risk deals there. We're talking more e-commerce or some kind of unique consumer products, things like that, that might be a little higher risk for chargebacks. Merchants understanding what we look for and what we're going to need to feel comfortable with them running transactions, understanding what those high tickets are. For example, we see a lot in the construction trades where merchants need to take very high transactions, but maybe they haven't completed the job yet, or maybe they don't have the cash flow to support that, but they want to run a $50,000 transaction on an American Express card. We need to show the merchants and help them understand the liability that they're taking on as a business, and that we're taking on and what we want to see to make them feel comfortable processing those transactions. So it's all about setting expectations depending on the business that you're working with and what the merchant's parameters need to be. It's really important that they understand all of that. That way they don't run into these headaches on the back end and you end up scrambling to explain it to them later.
Every one of our agents receives an email if, in fact, there's something else that needs to be submitted. Right. I mean, if you send up a merchant and, they're requesting, $100,000 high, monthly volume, and, just be ready to provide bank statements. Right. I mean, because that's just what it is. And again, it's to protect the merchant. It's to protect the agent. It's to protect PayProTech.
And I think, as you guys said, it's to make sure that, hey, we want this to be a long-term merchant. And so disclosing things up front is a lot easier than backtracking and saying, oh, I just forgot to say that. And sometimes maybe it's an honest mistake, but there are certain things that just have to be done. They should know what term and contract they're getting into. They should know what their pricing model is going to be and how much they should expect to pay as they process with us. And when you're hiding those things we think you're probably making other poor decisions as it goes down that probably are not going to be in the best interest of the merchant, and then ultimately really are not in the best interest of you and in PaperTech, because you're representing your brand and you're representing the brand of PaperTech when you walk in those doors. Even if you don't even sell under our name, you are doing that. Gentlemen, as we finish up on this topic, and the reason to do this is you hear about what there's no matter what sales product, whether it's insurance or merchant services or whatever people are selling, you hear of, I just don't want to be around salespeople. What are the things that the women and men who are selling for PaperTech can do to help make sure that they're above board and make sure that they are the most educated to treat their merchants in the best way? What do you think are those things that are going to set them apart in an industry that I believe, and I asked this question in the beginning, does have a better name now than it did before because people understand it more? And I think the third parties, the Squares, the Stripes have pushed us to share more, but there's still a lot of people that are doing some bad. What do you think sets them apart in an industry where there's a lot of competition?
Okay. Again, if you sell yourself first, it doesn't matter what you're selling. It doesn't matter if you're selling, payments, cars, insurance, real estate. It makes no difference, right? If you're selling yourself first and you earn the trust of the merchant, everything else falls into place. Nate, you brought up a point before, as far as if you're being unethical in your job, in your business, if you're trying to, cut corners and maybe this guy won't know. Let me tell you something right now. You're not just doing it in your professional life. Okay. You're doing it in your entire life, whether you know it or not. You're doing it in your entire, and one of these days, it's going to come back to bite you numerous times, more than likely. And to me, it's just, again, maybe I'm just too old, to do it any other way. But I like to lay my head down on my pillow at night and actually fall asleep rather than looking up at the ceiling, hoping that I don't get caught doing something. And I think if you do that, not just selling, not just at PaperTech, but in your entire life, everything else, your professional life, your personal life, everything else falls into place, and you'll just live a better life.
I love that. You will. And I like the idea of falling asleep and knowing you've done the right things. And that's what we strive for at PaperTech. We want to partner with people that want to wake up going, man, I made money today and I helped out merchants. I helped people. Danny, those are the people that we love working with, aren't they?
They are. Yeah. I mean, and really that's, I tell Brian often as we're recruiting new partners is, we're interviewing them as much as they're interviewing us, right? It's a partnership, and we want to make sure that they're selling with integrity and have similar values that we do, with wanting to provide a good service that you can stand behind and that you're happy to represent, and you're not afraid to walk back into that business after closing the deal, right? And that's what we hear of more times than you think. Actually, I talked to a partner yesterday morning about that a merchant got set up with a system, hadn't seen their partner in 2 years, come to find out they were, terrible rates that kept increasing over time. They had a terrible lease that they were locked into, and they opened the merchant's eyes to really what that partner had done. And it makes sense why they hadn't seen that person in 2 years, really, since they signed up. And that's what we're trying to avoid, right? And things that partners can do to really stand out, like we've talked about this week. We've talked about providing a white glove service as far as that extra over and beyond customer service experience. We've talked about, transparent pricing, setting expectations, doing things differently. There's a lot of things that you can do, but more importantly, just becoming knowledgeable on a lot of different topics in this industry. And that just builds confidence with your customers. And not being afraid to say, like we've talked about this week, that the competitors, and maybe they're currently with a Square, they're not bad, right? Good technology. They can be a good company and a good fit for a lot of different types of merchants, but here's where we're better. And so, if you're, in my opinion, if you're competition bashing, that doesn't really do you any favors, right? If you can find ways to spin where you're better as opposed to, focusing on their negative, I think it's going to do everybody a lot of favors. So, stay positive, like Brian's saying, do the right thing, and a lot of good things will happen.
All right, this has been, a little, not as exciting, as sexy as a topic maybe, but we're doing good. And so we're going to talk about our heroes of the week. I didn't tell Brian and Danny this, so, who are someone we want to celebrate that is doing right things, saying right things, whether it's in our industry or not. The hero is open. I'm going to go to Danny Shard first. Danny, who is your hero of the week?
Oh gosh, I was a little unprepared for that.
You could say yourself on the golf course.
Me too.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Brian Linke this week. So he's actually signed some very big offices this week, producing some very large accounts that have started to come on board. And his knowledge on recruiting and Schedule A's is proving to evolve. So Brian's really stepped his game up, and I love it because I'm competitive, right? Brian and I often talk about, how competitive we are. We argue, but it's all in fun usually, and a lot of it's like phone stats and partner agreements and who wins. And I think that competition really drives us forward. And I'll be honest with you, before a year ago, there wasn't a lot of competition for me. So he's definitely made me step my game up, and I really appreciate it. So thanks, Brian.
Woo! Way to go, Brian.
The thing is, you come into this office every single day. You better have your A game going because Danny Shard just not he does not rest. And I actually just had a conversation with Matt Hoskins about that. And I mean, Danny Shard comes to play. And if you don't have your A game, you're in trouble. But yeah, no, Dan, thank you. I appreciate that. It's amazing what happens when Danny Shard gets half a day off and goes out and plays, the golf course that only one can dream about playing. So we need to get him out there more. But I don't know. My hero of the week. You know what? I'm gonna go. With Ben Linke. How's that? You know what? Can I do that? Am I allowed to do that?
Absolutely, Dad.
Total quality logistics. Ben Linke was he was number 3 on the sales board last month with 4 days to go. He's number 1. Keeps on taking pictures. And you know what? As a dad, and with my son in sales, which I was just hoping that he would grow to about 6'8", 6'9", so he could be playing in the NBA, but that didn't happen. It warms my heart a little bit, to that, the fact that he's, taking this on and selling is not easy, especially when you're, right out of college and you get into the pit and, everybody's, grabbing at you and the competition's high, but I'm really proud of him.
Oh, I love it. My hero of the week this week is Mr. Danny Shard and the 27 people that emailed me with great ideas from 5 with Danny. We're doing a new show. You get it in your email, or you can watch it at 5withdanny.com. And let's be honest, it is the bomb diggity bomb. And we're very excited about it. He is. And he's just bringing incredible value every day. And we're working hard to record new ideas. And what I loved is I asked for people to respond. And a lot of times when we send out emails, we can see that we get, thousands of opens, but very few people will ever respond back. When I ask for ideas and thoughts about Danny, the floodgates come open. And so, Danny Shard, you're our hero of the week. That was what my plan is. And thank you guys on that. We are so excited to be able to come back next week. We'll be Wednesday, Friday, around 10 a.m. Eastern time. Come join us. And on that, maybe for the last time, probably not. We'll probably have next week because I haven't finished up the new song. We have a new jingle, but this is the old goodie that we've been around for a while. We say high five to everybody. Everybody have a great weekend. We will see you next Wednesday, Friday. Five with Danny. It is every day, 5 good minutes of content. Keep the ideas coming. Go to 5withdanny.com. You can sign up there, or you can just watch them there or watch them in your emails, however you want to. We're here for you. We'll see you next week. Have a great one. Bye-bye.